Hello and thank you for joining me, Mercer World Travels. This is episode 3 of The Strange World, and for those of you who don't really know what The Strange World is, it's a collection of videos, or a playlist, if you will, a series in which we plan on doing videos that all pertain to our experiences with traveling around the world. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the person who did those of you who are unfamiliar with the person who did the last video, episode 2, that is our other host. He's not as present on this yet until we do our trip in August. For those of you who are interested in seeing his main channel, which is pretty damn funny, check out that link right there. And if you like it, make sure to subscribe, share those videos. He's a pretty all right. I was really apprehensive about doing this one, mainly because of the context. Now, I wanted to have a little disclaimer that I don't mean to be offensive. If I am to anyone, I apologize, but this is just my experience, and I feel that other people could benefit from it. So let's get to it. I flew into South Korea and met Anthony. We ended up staying in Incheon, and we drank quite a bit with 2 Serbian women, which never forget them. We woke up the next day, and I was pretty hungover. I mean, I puked in the cab ride on the way there, which is actually in The Strange World, episode 1. There's a little clip from a Snapchat. So anyway, we take a cab to Seoul, which is something I don't recommend because it's really expensive. And it actually takes longer to take a cab than it would be to take the subway system. Subway system's like, I don't know, I would say a sixth of the price. Anyway, so we end up in Itaewon, and he's pretty dang tired. And, for some reason, I had a second wind, burst of energy. And I was like, hey, man, I need to go and explore. So I went up to a grocery store, or not a grocery store, a convenience store, and I was like, "Mul juiceo, papa." No, I didn't actually ask for water. I mean, I knew where it was. It was, in like a refrigerator. So I went and I grabbed some water, bought some of that for like, I don't know, it's like 1,000 won. It was super cheap, which is $1. They don't charge crazy amounts for their water, or really for anything, honestly, even their alcohol. So I decided to go head east, facing the North Seoul Tower. But there's 4 Itaewon entryway exits from the subway, and I went towards, I believe it was 4 and 3, but I'm not 100% sure. And so I'm just kind of walking, and I reach this staircase, and I'm like, all right. I mean, this staircase was pretty wide. It was about like 20 feet, 15 feet wide, and it had a pitch like that. Like, I don't know. It was just like, it was pretty steep incline. And so I'm like, screw it, man. I'm just going to go up this and see where it leads. Because that's where adventure, it's where it forms, all right? Just from going with it. And I noticed that I either have the option to go downhill to the left, or another pitch just as steep, if not steeper, to my right. So, of course, I go to my right. And as I reach the top of the hill, I mean, I'm exhausted. At this point, I'm like, holy, I'm like just chugging that mool, all right? I'm just pounding down that water, that H2O, just pounding that shit. I know, it was like a block and a half total of incline, which isn't that much, but it was pretty dang steep. That was a pitch and a half, all right? That was some pure intensity, all right? The Koreans' calves must be massive. They constantly do hills like that, for real. Or anyone in general that is living in those areas, because it's hilly. It's hilly. So anyway, I'm at the top of this hill at this point, and I notice to my right that a woman comes out of a storefront, and I'm like, okay, whatever. There's nothing to think of it. It was just, someone coming out of a store, until she addresses me specifically by looking me in the eye and saying, hey, you. And I was like, me? She was like, you. Like, hey, come here. You want a drink? And I was like, I could use a drink. My water's all gone. Whatever. Why not? So then I went in. I thought it was just like hospitality, like I'm a foreigner. Maybe she's gonna, invite me in to have a drink. I don't, I'm pretty naive at this point of the ways of certain parts of the world. And so I was like, all right, man, I'll go in. And immediately as I opened this door, or I should say, as she held the door open for me, because she's a lady, all right? I guess ladies hold the door open for men, especially this lady, because I'm pretty sure she locked it behind me. But as soon as I entered the establishment, the most pungent, intense, almost miasmic wave of an odor hits me. And I mean, it was a cross between like fornication and flour and some strange Korean dish that I still don't know what it is to this day. And so I'm standing in the doorway. Within the first 3 seconds, it was like a sensory overload. And then all of a sudden, I noticed that this Korean lady is giving me the old sweet pat down, like she's trying to look for spare change to get a soda or something. Like it's, she hasn't drank in soda or anything in like weeks. I mean, she was going ham on my man stuff. And suddenly, I realized like, holy shit. Have like a flashback moment, to when I was researching South Korea and I just happened to stumble upon an article that spoke of this place called Hooker Hill, which was in Itaewon. So here I am realizing that I'm in a brothel. And so the first thing that comes to mind is an expression that I learned in Korean. 괜찮아요? When she asked me, if I want to have a good time. 괜찮아요? Like, no, thank you. In context, 괜찮아요 can mean no, thank you, I should say, in this context. But in other contexts, 괜찮아요 is also a question, are you okay? And also a response, I'm okay. But in this context, I'm saying to her, no, thank you. While she has this kung fu grip on me, and for as short as she was, this late 30s prostitute was quite strong. So she's got like a tiger claw grip on me, and it is intense. And so, I'm trying to tell her I'm fine. Like, no, thank you. I want to go. Like, I'm not interested, lady. I don't want none of your craziness all up on this. Eventually, I got an idea after about 45 seconds to a minute and a half, trying to convince this lady that I'm not interested. I finally said to her, I don't have any money. Really sell it. I don't have any money, but I'll come back. Because I wanted her under the impression that if she let me go, that she wouldn't be losing money. She's a woman who does piecework. Let's be realistic. The more of the puntaken she gets in her makaja, the more, money she makes. Finally, I rip off her, like, clamped on, like, metal grip. I mean, I beelined out that son of a gun because it already smelt so intense in that place. And I was just thinking to myself as I was walking down.
Oh, jeez. Pete! We're real friendly around here. Whoa!
Whoa, how am I getting out of this? As I start descending down this hill, which is about, I would say, a block and a half long, more women start popping out of doors, the establishments that are dimly lit, and usually the windows are blacked out. And that's when I kind of got like, oh wait, this whole place is filled with this. This is definitely Hooker Hill. So I just kind of beelined it down. I dropped 괜찮아요 like I was throwing dollar bills, all right? I was just telling these ladies, hey, no, I'm good. All right, I'm good on this. All right, I'm just gonna go to that African place down the, a block away, directly straight from me, and I'm gonna get some chicken. All right, I'm not gonna get any of that because I know that I can potentially get some of that black syphilis, and I'm not feeling the black syphilis. All right, because that means I can't leave the country. It means I have black syphilis. I could potentially die. These are all things that I do not want. So I decided, hey, I'm just gonna, give them the no hands. That's the no hands. If you weren't familiar with the no hands, all right, that means no. All right, it's like, hey, all right, it works.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more.